Hi, welcome to our June Masterclass. This is the third in online masterclasses and your first one for summer. Again, for summer, we will have 7 private lessons and 3 masterclasses, and this will be the first of the summer masterclasses. You've had assignments in April 1st to play and perform any simple form of happy birthday to you. I gave you the melody line in the PowerPoint. Any kind of improvisation or any kind of embellishment that you can do on that happy birthday song, I would like you to do. And then for May, it's to look up any fact about a Baroque composer, and the Baroque composers were listed on the last page of the PowerPoint. So review those assignments. Today we're going to be talking about classical music. Classical music is from 1750 to 1820. And during that time, we see a shift away from the more complex polyphony, where you have a lot of contrary motion, the fugue sounds, the complicated layered texture, and now we have a simple, cleaner sound. More emphasis on melody line with simple bass accompaniments. Look at your PowerPoint, and I've given you an example of ostinato. The word ostinato just means any repeating bass pattern. So an ostinato could be a chord broken or a simply 1 to 5 motion, or Alberti bass, and that's bottom, top, middle, top of the chord. Take those 3 notes, bottom, top, middle, top. All very common forms. Look through your music and see where you can find ostinato in your assignments. And during the classical period, those cleaner, simple bass lines supported beautiful phrases. Now, today we're going to talk a little bit about classical music at its high point. A lot of concern and a lot of development on sonata form. Sonata form is composed of those 3 elements that you see on the board: exposition, development, and recapitulation. And for demonstration purposes, I selected just a delightful sonata by Haydn. It's in B flat, composed in 1765. Remember that he was criticized by his contemporaries for maybe being a little frivolous and a little too lighthearted. But his response was simply, God has blessed me with a cheerful spirit, therefore I choose to serve him cheerfully. So I love Haydn's music. It's always an upbeat, exhilarating kind of feel. This particular sonata follows that exposition, development, and recapitulation form. So let's look at it a little closer. During the exposition, you have a first theme, and that is in tonic key. So in this case, in the key of B flat. A second theme. And in this case, a third theme. And then he develops that third theme. So you'll see developments of those 3 themes for the next page and a half. Now, how do we know he's moving to the development? Very simply, he moves to the key of F, which is the dominant. So if you're playing a B flat scale, the 5th tone of the scale, that F chord and that F key signature appears, but he doesn't change the key signature. He uses an accidental. And that's how you know you're going into the developmental section. Somewhere towards the end of the exposition, you're going to see an E flat. Now he uses a closing theme, and look for the E flat in the music. There's the E natural. And now from here on, it's E natural, and we're in the key of F. And he ends on a nice, very solid F chord. That's the ending of the exposition. The beginning of the development section has the very same theme as the opening. Here's the opening theme. And now, at the beginning of the development, we're in the key of F. developmental section, you'll see melodies inverted, you'll see fragments and patterns, you'll see changed rhythm, sometimes an augmented rhythm. You'll see as many variations as the composer thinks is valuable for the piece. Here he is motioning in step motion. He's going from the key of D and then C and the key of so he's going from the key of D to the key of C to the key of B flat. So he's moving around the circle of fifths a little bit. And then variation in these same things. Now, how do we know we're back to the recapitulation? Simply this. We return to the original thing in the original key. The exact same thing that you had at the beginning. And then there are some variations. At the end, a composer can choose to do a lot of things. He can add a coda. A coda is usually a more complex ending, and it highlights the skills and the technical ability of the performer. Codas can be very, very difficult. Codas can be very demanding on the pianist. So if the last part of your piece is more difficult, the last part of your sonata, purposefully it is to showcase your ability. In this case, he doesn't have a coda. He just has a closing theme. He's using a variation on one of the themes he developed. And we now are going to return back to the key of B flat because we have an E flat and B flat. And that B flat signals the end. So we return to home base. Just a delightful sonata, and I think it's important in learning your music to know the geography well. Mark your chord transitions. It doesn't have to be every chord, but see if you can find, if you're playing a sonata, the exposition, the development, and the recapitulation. If you're not playing a sonata, look for those chord changes in your music. That motion from tonic to dominant is prevalent throughout all music, and you're going to find that motion helpful in learning so you know what to look for. Now, the next important element that I wanted to review just a little bit is the development of the piano during the classical period. Prior to this time, the harpsichord and the organ were the dominant keyboard instruments. The harpsichord had limitations because it was a plucking motion, and all we had was just that ping, and no matter how hard you played the key, it would be the same volume, the same sound. Thanks to a lot of innovators, engineers, and composers like Clementi, who invested their own money into warehouses and technicians to develop and expand the ability of the piano, we have what we have today, which is called the Viennese piano. So what did they do to make it different? Well, they took the keyboard, which was only 2.5 octaves, at most, sometimes 3, and they expanded it to the octave bass that you have now. They also expanded the length of the string, and obviously a longer string, a bigger sound. You can have orchestrations because now you can have a much broader dynamic range, and they improved the regulation. Regulation means how fast a key returns to its original position so you can play it again. So it's in repeating or that quick regulation allows for more technical playing, and it also allows for more finesse in dynamics. So the softer you touch a chord or bold sound, you have underneath your fingertips really an orchestra of sound. The ability to control those big full instruments and the ability to layer those sounds. And you layer them with the addition of the damper pedal. Damper pedal does what cymbals will do. When you play a cymbal, it rings until you touch the cymbal to your body or disrupt the sound in some way. What the damper pedal does is it releases the felt off the keys and it rings, and when you bring the damper pedal up, the felt is applied to those strings and it cuts off the sound. So the ability to sustain long, beautiful tone qualities and to layer that tone quality is what we have in the instrument. So the piano that you're playing on today is essentially a Viennese piano. This instrument has not undergone any really significant changes since 1805. It's been essentially the same for 215 years. So it's a remarkable instrument, and I think exploring what you can do with the piano, looking for contrast, looking for variation in dynamics, makes your study so exciting. And always remember, if your piece is interesting to you, if it resonates with you, if it has meaning and impact to you emotionally, it has impact and meaning to the people that listen to it as well. Looking forward, we will continue with lessons. Look for those updates coming in emails. We will have lessons this week. Please look at the 10-page PowerPoint first. That's most important. So if you haven't had a chance to view the PowerPoint for June, please do that. Look at this video, and then your assignment is one of two. For this June masterclass, you can listen to any sonatina and find a repeating ostinato bass pattern. Listen for that repeating bass pattern that makes it classical. Or the second assignment is, if you're playing a sonatina, please go through and mark tonic and dominant chord shifts. Look for accidentals. That's the key that tells you we're moving into another key realm. The key signature won't change, but the accidentals will move you in and out of tonic and dominant motion in your sonatas and sonatinas. If you have an understanding of harmonic progression, it makes your learning so much easier. You have a geography that is the foundation for your learning. So mark up your scores, or if you are not playing sonatas or sonatinas, look up a classical piece and listen for these elements. Thanks for your attention. We'll look forward to seeing you at class this week. Bye.